Hi, I'm Allie. Join me as I show you how to do these silver leaf earrings. They're working with a custom wood form, and then we're adding seed beads. This is actually one of our fun projects in this month's kit subscription box, so check that out as well. If you need any materials or want to check out more information about the subscription, look below the video. In the description of the video, hit that little show more button and it'll get links back to the site. Gather up your supplies and let's get ready. To begin this project, we're just using simple materials. I added a bunch of different rows to it and I just liked it nice and simple and very, very delicate. You're getting a BeadTec form here, which we create here in Hagerstown. And what you are going to do is you are going to take your needle and you are going to remove the protective paper that's on it. And it's always easiest to do it with a needle. Could use that as a stencil. Flip over, do the same thing on the other side. And then if you want to get creative, these would look awesome with some paint markers. You can take the paint markers and you can go in and mark them the way that you want to. Now with a leaf earring, you do want to notice that it does have sides. So it has kind of a side that goes towards the middle, a side that goes towards the side. It's not symmetrical on both sides. So you can make mirror images of itself. There is a front and a back. This one here I did in white. I'm going to end with a jump ring. This one I'm going to do with a wire guard going the whole way around the top. And I'm going to do it with my green thread. So it just fades in a little bit more to the design. We are going to be using some 15-0 seed beads. And I'm using the Miyuki brand seed beads in the Crystal Lab Full Color, which is a co-op color from the Czech Republic. And I am going through the form with my thread. The thread that I'm using is size 6 DragonThread in white. You can use, in green. You can use white thread, you can use green thread, you can use a color thread if you really want that to be kind of the focus. And I'm just tying the thread right around the form right there at the top. I have about 5 feet of thread. You can always add more. It's pretty simple with this project. And I've tied twice around the top there. We're going to be doing brick stitch along this outer edge. And the key to brick stitch is that you don't want it to be too tight. You would rather a little bit of space than have it balled up. And I like that this looks like ball chain around the piece. We're going to do the exterior first so you get the feel of it, and then we'll go in and do the interior. You also do not need to do the interior, and you do not need to do the exterior, so you can kind of make it what it is. You're going to put 2 beads on your needle. So from the back towards the front through that biggest opening. And then I'm going to go and sew back through bead number 2. Sewing back through bead number 2, I'm sewing towards bead number 1, so it sits up on its end. And this leaf has like little ridges along it. So if you feel your thread get caught, you can go like this because it is not smooth. It's supposed to look like a leaf. It's a smooth cut, but it's supposed to look like a leaf. So there's kind of bends in there. Now you're going to go one at a time. 1 bead goes on. You go through the leaf form, pulling and keeping that bead kind of towards the back. You can see how I push it against my finger. Then I go back up through that bead from where I would add the next bead toward bead number 2. When I sew toward bead number 2, what that does is allows bead number 3 here to sit facing straight up. When you're looking at the side of your leaf, you want this brick stitch to be in the center of your design there, kind of not going to one side or the other. The white one, again, easier to see, but the green one fades in a little bit more. This actually is one of the projects of our subscription box this month. I like to do different projects in the box to show you different techniques and to get different ideas flowing. And we have a ton of the different forms that we've created, and you can check those out on the website as well. You're going to continue adding bead by bead to make that ball chain look on the outside of the leaf there. I try to line it up exactly where it's going to be. So back through the bead so it sits with the hole facing up. Nice tight pull coming out of the form. Line those up. And you'll notice bead number 1 is just kind of floating out there. Don't worry about it as we come back towards the front. I'm going to use the wire guard this time in this one. As we come back towards the front here, we'll catch that and go with that. So you're literally going the whole way around the form. As we get down to the bottom here, I'll show you how we're going to go and wrap around the edge. Beaders, this is the deal you've been waiting for. The PotomacBeads treasure box is packed with one of the finest assortments of high-quality beads, including seed beads, super duos, Czech glass, melon beads, and crystal cubes. Right now, when you subscribe to the quarterly treasure box, you'll only pay for 2 months and get the third month absolutely free. That's over $300 worth of beads for just $70, a massive savings of more than $230 off retail prices. Quantities are limited, so subscribe now before this quarterly offer ends. Your stash and your creative projects will thank you. Together, we create. So just to show you how it's turning out, I love the green with it because then the wood form stands out a little bit more. And I have 19 of my 15 O's just to let you know. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on a total of 6 of my 15 O's because I'm down here near the bottom. I'm going to do 5 to branch over the bottom and then 6 as my one going into the opposite side. Coming out of the top of that 19th bead, I'm going down just like I've been doing through the back of the design. Those 5 beads will kind of hang out at the point there. And bead number 6, you're going to sew through toward bead number 5, pulling that brick stitch in. And now we just continue. As you add your next bead, they'll kind of lay a little bit nicer for you. Add a bead right down into that same hole. And there we have it as we go up through that second bead there. Pulling through, and you can see how it just wraps right there along the bottom and looks pretty seamless. Go ahead and continue up the side here, and when we get towards the top, I'll show you what we're going to do to connect. So I'm back up to the top here, and after that group of 6, I added another 19 of my beads. You can see how pretty it is. Whether or not you want to fill in the middle, that's completely up to you if you want that silver look in the interior. Now I'm coming up the side here, and what I'm going to do is use my wire guard for the top versus a jump ring. Didn't love the look of a jump ring, so I'm switching it out. And I'm going to go into my brick stitch, and I'm actually going to connect to my hole here. I'm going through that hole, pushing the bead over, and I'm going back through the bead, just like I would in any other portion of the brick stitch. I'm going to do one more bead there. I'm going to go back up through. And now I'm coming out, so I've got 2 beads up there along the stem. I'm going to add one more bead, add my wire guard, come down through the opposite side of my wire guard. Then I'm going to add that bead and a second bead, and then I'm going to sew through the hole there at the top. That pulls that wire guard over to the top, back through bead number 2 toward that other bead there. And see how it just frames it there at the top. Now we're going to go back and we're going to add a little bead in the center of the hole too. But right now then I'm going to do a second bead going into that same hole. Just continuing that brick stitch. Pulling that down there. Getting that nice and tight. Now I have room for one more bead. That one more bead I'm going to jump down and go into that long hole of the leaf. I'm going to go back through that bead. Come on out. And then I'm going to go down into bead number 1. From bead number 1, I'm going to go through the top of bead number 1, take it towards the back up through bead number 1 from the bottom, towards the top, and then bead number 1 sits perfectly for you. There you go. So it looks like a seamless piece of ball chain around the leaf itself. Again, I've gone back and forth whether or not I want to decorate the interior, and we are going to decorate the interior. Before decorating the interior, I'm going to weave up through my brick stitch there to the top, into that final bead. And now when I come out this final bead here, I'm going to establish what is the front and the back of the design. So what's going to be the front and the back doesn't matter as much for this one, but I'm going to tuck into the interior hole. I'm going to grab an 11-0 seed bead, or a 15-0 seed bead rather, and I'm going to sew back through the hole. And that's just going to act as a little stop and put a little silver bead there at the top. Super pretty. If you want to, because you want it to be reversible, add a silver bead on the other side and sew back through. So then you'll have silver bead on either side of the piece. Now we are going to jump down from that section. So from here, we are going to go into the exterior again, into that brick stitch, kind of weaving through it so you don't see a lot of extra thread going underneath those bridge threads and bridge passes. And what we're trying to do is get back into the interior of the design. Now what's going to happen as we go through the interior design is you're going to see thread going from the top to the bottom along the piece. Here's where I do like to have a front and a back, but honestly, it really doesn't matter. So let's get ready to decorate the interior of the leaf. So to start, we are coming out one of our beads right here. We're going to wrap through our loop here, and we are going to basically exit right there. What you're going to do is count how many beads fit in towards the interior of a hole, and I'm coming out through that side one there. I'm going to say comfortably about 4 beads. I'm going to lay those 4 beads along the design, coming from the back there towards the front. I'm going to sneak underneath one of those bridge threads that's close. I'm going back through those 4 beads, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right there, if it'll let me. There we go. So it's almost like a figure 8 that you're doing here. I'm going to go underneath my form there to kind of pull the beads into the interior, and then I'm going to come out through the one on the opposite side. Now here I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Look at that one and say, is that the right length? Maybe a 7th one. Same thing here. I'm going to kind of hold it from the back there. And I look, I'm going to go underneath the bridge thread there. So just right along the side between the beads and the form. Get that starter thread out of the way. Bring my needle back through this section that I'm working on. As I come back through this section that I'm working on, I'm going to pick up and go back through all those beads, bringing my thread towards the top of the design. Kind of lay my finger along the beads there, ready to kind of push them in place, and there we have it. Beads go to the interior. Now I'm here at the top. I'm going to sneak down, going zigzagging through from the right side to the left, from the left side down towards the right. Now again, I'm going to do the long side. See how 5, 6, and 7 beads fit. And just kind of eye it up. Yep, that looks great. Threads coming out through that hole. I'm going to let those beads drop. So between the bridge thread, in the middle of that space, underneath and around the form, back up through that center piece of the form, pulling it into place, back through all of those beads, laying that thread on the top of the form, pushing those beads towards the interior, nice tight pull. You're going to go through the loop at the top and come down the loop next door. You're just going to continue this the whole length that is the design, filling in the interior of the leaf with the seed beads. As you come down to the bottom of the design, I just wanted to show you that at the bottom here, it's going to be tight. So while there's room for maybe a couple more, it's not actually going to fit with that 15, which is a tiny little bead. So we're going through the bottom, and I'm just going to use 1 seed bead here at the bottom. And in the interior, you'll notice I have some space. I think less is more when it comes to that one. Over the top here, so at the bottom you have a decent sized space. I'm going, instead of over right away, to the opposite side for this one. We're just going to pop over there. I'm just going to show you how to finish up then. And you're just going to want to pop that bead into the interior, but don't break your form. From here then, we're coming out the bottom, zigzagging across, always over to the opposite, to the last one, right there along the bottom. I'm going here, through that bottom, back through that bead, along the top, and pull. And that is literally it. Those are all in there. All we're going to do is attach our ear wire. Here's the difference, so you can see kind of the white versus the green and the effect that you get. Obviously the leaf is more predominant when you're using the green. And how to get rid of thread. So to get rid of the thread, what I'm going to suggest doing is going up to that opposite form there, or that next form up. Here at the bottom, we're going to sneak underneath a bridge thread. We're going to take our needle and thread under one of the connector threads. We are going to loop around once. We're going to loop around twice. We're going to pull nice and tight. We're going to go in with our thread zap or thread burner, and we are just going to burn down nice and towards the project. Same thing at the top here, because remember we tied a knot. We're going to burn down there, burn down nice and against the project, and then simply take your, I like this side better, the side that I was working on the front. Take your ear wire, open it up a little bit, close it up. You can do this obviously with pliers, but that finishes up your beautiful silver leaf earring. Again, showing with the white thread versus the green thread and just how different they look based on your thread choices. Thanks so much for joining me in creating this silver leaf form. It's really fun to see how you can really enhance a custom form with just a simple row of seed beads. Remember, if you do need any supplies or you want to check out our kit subscription, look below the video in the description to get links back to our website. As well as hit that little subscribe button if you have not, because you don't want to miss anything from us here at Potomac Beads. As always, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for being a member of this awesome community, and stay tuned for more inspirational designs.